Well, at first, I wasn't a fan of it. I'd rather have the Qatari takeover, and to be honest, I think it would have been better for the club, honestly.
Just coming in the last day, David de Gea moving to Newcastle to replace Nick Pope after he's been out for 5 months. De Gea, what do you think?
I can see him doing well there, and then I can see United fans regretting asking for a new goalkeeper.
I think the attitude has been a massive problem for Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. They walk around, they're sulking, they're not putting in any defensive effort. This is an issue we've been talking about for Martial for years, but Rashford at least, I just don't know what's happened to him. And you've got an academy player who scored over 100 goals for the club. You've got to put in some absolutely awful performances to get the fans to turn on you.
To get that hate as well, yeah.
I don't think De Gea would have been any better in these games that we've been playing so far. It's the fact that he was a problem last season.
This is where we see like Tadibu coming in and João Neves coming in.
Yeah.
Like on the ball, they're both comfortable, get the passes off, they can play offensively, and I think that's what United need, especially if you've got players that can't get back, like Maguire's slow, Tadibu could come back. I was watching him and he was just like running back like 50 metres just to like make a recovery. And not just that, he can just go forward, and it's like the progressive play is what they're looking for.
Hello and welcome to the 20 Times podcast, the latest and soon to be greatest Manchester United podcast. I'm joined as always by Seb, and today we've got some interesting news to bring to you from Old Trafford. Our first point of discussion is going to be the Manchester United takeover.
That's right, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's 25% stake is almost at its completion, and we're going to discuss the impact that the investment could have on the club.
In another segment, we're all going to discuss our recent results and our form in the Premier League and Champions League.
And then finally, we're going to be looking at potential targets in January who we think United should sign.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe is on the verge of completing his 25% acquisition of Manchester United. The current Nice owner has been in discussions with the Glazer family for some time now over the purchase of a quarter of the club, but Sir Jim is ever so close to completing the purchase.
And the purchase will see Sir Jim Ratcliffe take over control of the footballing and sporting side of the club, whilst the Glazers will continue with their control over the marketing and sponsorship standing point.
While Sir Jim is set to only at the moment acquire 25%, going forward it would be the start of a gradual takeover that will see Glazers' shares get smaller and smaller and Ratcliffe's share getting bigger and bigger. So, Jim Ratcliffe, what are your thoughts?
Well, at first, I wasn't a fan of it. I'd rather have the Qatari takeover, and to be honest, I think it would have been better for the club, honestly.
Yeah, on the other hand, to be fair, I think Sir Jim coming in is actually a brilliant thing for the club. I like his sort of like analytical approach that people have been talking about with his approach to transfers. I think United need a different approach. We've gone for the last 10 years of talking about going for big names this, big name that, Paul Pogba here, Zlatan here. I think trying to invest in youth and trying to invest in the domestic game a bit more will be something that will be really beneficial to the club.
Yeah, because I was saying this the other day just after we seen like Garnacho's goal and Manu's like performance against Everton. I was just thinking United needed to have like a bit of a different approach this time, and I like how he's going to prioritise homegrown players over like getting big names, paying big prices, just like what Sir Alex was doing.
I think it's really important as well to look in the investment that he's going to put into the facilities in the stadium, because as everybody knows, and a lot of rival fans know as well, Old Trafford is actually falling down, and we desperately need investment in it. The Glazers have neglected it for 18 years, and it's something that they have zero interest in putting money into. So to have somebody that loves the club like Jim Ratcliffe does, I think it'll be massive.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're going to turn to Manchester United's form next, and it's just really not been great, has it?
Oh well, yeah. United have won 8 out of their last 15 games. 6 wins come from the Premier League, whilst 1 came from the Champions League, and of 1 against Crystal Palace in the EFL Cup.
And the form recently, especially, has been pretty embarrassing. Losing to Newcastle in the North East on the weekend. In the week, we drew 3-3 against Galatasaray, snatching defeat from the hands of victory, 3-1 up. And
then qualification out of the Champions League is possible, but it will be difficult to beat Bayern Munich at home, whilst hoping for a draw between Copenhagen and Galatasaray.
And then on the positive end, we did get a really good performance against Everton. We saw one of the best goals I think I'll ever see in the Premier League from Alejandro Garnacho, that bicycle kick, and then also Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford getting on the score sheet there. And yeah, it's massive for the players. Obviously we talk about Garnacho's goal back there, but it's also big that we actually get some attackers who are scoring with Martial and Rashford.
Yeah, I agree. I've been a bit disappointed with Rashford as well, especially
definitely.
He dropped like a good performance last season, like especially after the World Cup. But like seeing him like start of the season, he's been lacking, and he had a good game against Everton. But again, like when we seen him against like Newcastle, I saw no effort there. Like,
couldn't agree more with you. The fact is, when United have been playing, we just haven't been getting the goals out of our attackers. We've got, I think, 16 goals this season. It's the lowest in the top half by some margin. And it's not even like the defence has like specifically let us down in games. It's just the fact we aren't scoring. You know, our top goal scorer for attackers at the moment has 2 goals in like 12 games, which is Marcus Rashford. One of them was a penalty. We haven't had any double-digit goal scorers so far. Rasmus Højlund hasn't yet to score a Premier League goal this season. And despite a lot of people talking about his lack of service, I think he's been getting it. He just hasn't been finishing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think it's just poor that to say that like our top Premier League like goal scorer is someone who we seem to like give a lot of stick as well. Like we just said that he's not putting effort in. He's just been not clinical in front of the goal. He's just like it's absolutely just devastating to see.
I think the attitude has been a massive problem for Marcus Rashford and Nancy Martial. They will walk around, they're sulking, they're not putting in any defensive effort. You know, this is an issue we've been talking about for Martial for years, but Rashford at least, I just don't know what's happened to him.
And that whatever was going on the touchline with Ten Hag between him and Martial was just I
haven't seen him berate somebody like that basically since pre-season when he was going at Harry Maguire a lot in pre-season. But the fact is, you know, when Ten Hag's mad at somebody, you can really tell he's done something to get on their nerves. And I just think a lot of the fans as well are turning on Rashford, which is something that doesn't happen. You know, you've got an academy player who scored over 100 goals for the club. You've got to put in some absolutely awful performances to get the fans to turn on you.
To get that hate as well, yeah. But then moving on to the transfers in January, the club are currently heavily linked with Nice centre-back Tadibu. The 23-year-old has impressed massively, catching the eyes of plenty of other European clubs alongside United.
With Sir Jim set to complete the purchase of Manchester United, this could give the Red Devils a massive boost going forward in their aims to complete the signing of the French defender, with Sir Jim owning Nice as well. And the depth in defence is massive because Rafa Varane's future is very uncertain.
Benfica midfielder João Neves is another name linked with the move to Old Trafford. The 19-year-old has catched eyes of many great scouts, and he would be a great signing for us. With injuries hitting United hard at the moment, the signing of Neves would be massive.
Rumours have also circulated this week that midfielder Donny van der Beek is planning to leave the club in January as he's looking to earn valuable game time, which is something that during his spell at Old Trafford just hasn't happened. And also, just coming in the last day, David de Gea moving to Newcastle to replace Nick Pope after he's been out for 5 months. De Gea, what do you think?
I can see him doing well there, and then I can see United fans regretting asking for a new goalkeeper.
On the other hand, I think it's really I think it's hindsight to look at letting De Gea go. Sure, Onana hasn't been the best since he's come here, but at the same time, I don't think De Gea would have been any better in these games that we've been playing so far. It's the fact that he was a problem last season. He was one of our, in my opinion, worst players on the pitch in most games that we played last year. And just because we haven't signed the best replacement for him doesn't mean that he didn't need to go.
I do agree with that. It's a sticky one as well. Especially, didn't he have the most clean sheets as well in the Premier League last season?
Yeah, but at the moment, Andre Onana also has the joint most clean sheets in the Premier League. So I think I've always maintained that clean sheets are a defender's stat, not a goalkeeper's. I think it's the defence in front of you that gets you clean sheets, not just about the play of goalkeepers.
But this is where we see like Tadibu coming in and João Neves coming in.
Yeah.
Like on the ball, they're both comfortable, get the passes off, they can play offensively, and I think that's what United need, especially if you've got players that can't get back, like Maguire's slow. Tadibu could come back. I was watching him and he was just like running back like 50 metres just to like
rapid,
make a recovery. And not just that, he can just go forward, and it's like the progressive play is what they're looking for. And that's what they're going to get.
I think being able to sign a 6 and a centre-back will really allow Andre Onana to unlock the game that he was showing at Inter Milan.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'll be massive to bring those two in, and also partnering them with Kobbie Mainoo. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for on our very first episode of the 20 Times podcast.
We thank you for watching. Leave a comment below what you'd like to see from us going forward, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
We'll see you next week.